Hello everyone, welcome back to another live stream. Today we are going to continue a little bit with the interview with the previous senior moderators. A few of them can't make it, but today it's the less important question day, I suppose. Like, we won't go through insanely important ones. We'll go a little bit towards, of course, the concerning devs and mods section, but we'll also go to within game questions, a little bit about fan page questions, and a little bit more towards the less important stuff. So I will go right ahead and start asking in a second. Hello there, Sporksmaster, and hello there, Toromixter. Yes, okay. So I guess let's get started. I'll do the same thing as I did not yesterday, but last stream, is I'll play the game a bit while we ask. So, we've already asked how do devs treat their mods. We also had, is it worth everything to be a mod? I think we answered that. Let's see here. Why do mods get their title removed for asking questions? I don't think we have had that one before. Oh wait, I don't think people can hear you. I did try to talk now. Can you talk?
Okay,
now?
I might have to refresh.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And now it's working. Yeah, I forgot that I had desktop audio. I totally forgot about the desktop audio thing. Well, hello there, Claire and Hovis.
It wasn't that we were removed for asking questions. It was we were removed more so for having an opinion that didn't fit the opinion they wanted us to have.
So they basically wanted you to have their opinion, and if you did not have it, you would have your title removed.
Right, and it down to, was it worth staying on when they had broke down our team? They were going to break down our system and just destroy everything we had been doing the last several months, or like in Bo and Mike's case, almost 2 years. And it wasn't worth trying to redo everything.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, because if you have put a lot of work into something, as you said, over 2 years, and they're going to ruin it, it wouldn't be very tempting for me either to like continue doing things and trying to make it as good as it once was. Because
I think their point of view, they had so much trial and error that they knew what was working, and to have that taken away, you know, after 2 years of experience, knowing this is the best way for things to work, that was kind of where they were coming from. You know, they were saying, listen, we've done it that way before. It turned out really poorly. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't understand, like, everything happened so quickly. It was a very quick change in how things worked. Because one day it was like that, and the other day everything got kind of... From my understanding, after I was fired, there was a lot of discussions and a lot of talking in the chats about everything which was happening, and that led to, I guess, the modcopalypse or something like that for Facebook. Like,
well, it was almost like a revolution of sorts within there. Like, you got fired, and then we were speaking out against the what is now the official League of Angels 2 Discord. And it wasn't that we were anti-Discord, because obviously we're not, but it was, we didn't agree with it being, you know, having mod questions and taking reports off of there, and it not being official, because then it fell into Facebook page lap, and we were having to answer questions that we didn't know what was going on over there. And that discussion got brought up, and we were basically told to suck it up and deal with it, that that's how it was going to be. And Mike spoke up for us, and like the next day Mike was fired. And then he quit for a little while, and he came back. We brought him back in, and everything was okay for 2 days, and then they fired him just because of strategic reasons. They said like that he wasn't going to fit the team anymore. And after that, Julie and I we were done. We were done with the whole just totally destroying the team, and it wasn't going to get better, and we just had to step out from that situation.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, it's so interesting how everything worked out, in my opinion, because like by doing what happened, like firing Bao, it kind of ruined a lot of things for both forums and Facebook. Because not only do they lack a lot of Facebook moderators right now, probably, I don't know this for a fact, but they probably have to spread thin some people working on forums to work on Facebook for the lack of Facebook moderators. So they're pretty much spreading thin the moderators I have, and instead of doing one thing full way like you guys did with 100% response rate, they're cutting their powers in half pretty much just because of what happened. And
right,
I'm
yeah,
we
were strong. We had, 3 seniors, which I'd only been a senior a week when everything happened. So I didn't even stay on as a senior for long, but there was 3 seniors and the team leader. And then I think we had 3 juniors or 4 juniors, and it just kind of...
Yeah, I don't know what's strategically smart about doing what they did, because it's frankly quite stupid.
Right, they fired one senior and then let go of the team leader and just left us scrambling, and...
Yeah, and now they have to find new moderators, which they are more uncertain of than...
Yeah, they basically just the next day put out the ad for it, and they've already got, like, new people coming in. So, like I said, it's just warm bodies, and that's, they don't care.
They don't really care, they just have it as is. So, anywho, let's get over to the next question. So, let's see here. Why do players get banned when they are trying to help with an issue and coming back because it's still unresolved? I don't quite understand that. Do players get banned when they're trying to help?
It's nearly impossible to get a player banned.
Yeah,
unless they're talking about on fan page, and that the only way a player is supposed to get banned on fan page is if they are breaking Facebook's page's terms of service, which is, racism, sexual harassment, anything past the normal point of swearing, or spamming. And we didn't, in the whole time I was a mod, I think I only banned 2 players, and one was basically using like death threats against the mods, and the other one was just spamming. So it wasn't even a thing that we did very often. Now here lately, several have been banned or temporarily suspended. Not supposed to unless they have a cause, like a big cause to do so.
Yeah, because banning is a very serious thing. It shouldn't be taken lightly in any kind of game.
I'm not talking about the game itself. I'm talking about the fan page, like banning on the fan page.
Well, of course. But
within the game, it's almost impossible because there's so many things. They can mute a player, but banning is something very serious. I don't know.
That for chargebacking, I think, most likely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Muting is like it's like a kick, basically. You can get muted for 3 days. You can get muted even permanently. I know of some players who is muted permanently, I think. So
and they would have had to have done something, constantly spam the chat or harass somebody, something major to be muted like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, let's ask a few game questions. I guess this is more opinion based than anything. Are or 2 character teams allowed? I've heard it is a strategy, but is it really? I guess this means that you bug out and you can only have 1 account, for example, and not have any heroes with you.
I think it's more the people who have just like the main character on their account and they don't have any of the support heroes with them. Mike is really the one to answer this question. Personally, I don't see it as a strategy. I see it as an exploitation of the game.
I don't really.
I mean, other than that, it's, you know, not really a major. I don't know. I don't agree with it. I think that, you know, the game is set up for you to have your main character and the 4 other heroes, and that's how you should play it. And, you know, but everybody has their own way to do it. But the first time you play, you don't realize that you can only use is looked down on, but it isn't a ban-worthy type thing.
Yeah, you won't get banned or anything, but it's frowned upon, I guess is a word.
Right.
Yeah. Well, 1 and 2 player teams are created with a third-party program. That's how they skip the tutorial. So I do know that if that's reported to the devs, that they have warned those players.
Yeah, they've been warned. But if they don't do anything about it, can they get banned? Okay. Because they don't? No.
I mean, I've never seen, all I've ever seen as a response to it is warned.
Yeah, alright, so nobody has really gotten screwed over, I guess. Well, by good means, because I don't really understand what's beneficial about it. Why do you weaken yourself to not have support heroes supporting your main hitter? But I guess that's just my point of view. I've never had a 1 hero team like that. Someone, I'm tired and impatient to find about another mod issue. You guys can also ask questions in the chat. We don't have to go through this list like I'm talking to the live stream there. Are there really hackers in the game? If so, do you actually do anything about it?
That is more of a question for devs. Mods can take reports of anyone that a player feels is cheating, and a dev will look into the account.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
To my knowledge, if somebody is caught using a hack or a cheat, they do get in trouble.
Yeah, because this happened in Age of Vengeance 1. There was a guy hacking in resources. He did not, I don't think he got banned, but they removed all his items. But I think they only removed his gear. Everything else stayed. And he had like Dmoc level sylphs in the game. I don't know if you guys know sylphs. But he had like a lot of max systems in the game which he wasn't supposed to have. He was not banned, they only removed his gear, and gear he can easily get back. So they didn't even ban him for hacking in.
They just made him re-earn everything?
Yeah, they just removed his gear, that's all. I don't think they did anything else other than removing his gear. They let him keep his cheated... let him keep his cheated elemental system. They let him keep his cheated sylph system. So he still has that max till to this day, and I don't think he's banned. But he had to regain his gear, and gear isn't the most expensive thing to get. But it's very weird to me that they didn't either ban him or clear those systems he hacked in resources for. So that was a very weird thing, that they didn't punish him more. Because when you generate items, it's serious.
That's definitely at the dev's discretion. Mods can only, you know, take reports of if somebody suspects somebody.
Dev powers. Mods do not have any powers at all in comparison to devs, because they can actually do things. Let's see here. Why are the new things getting launched when old things aren't fixed? I can actually answer this question as well, but I'll let you go first.
I feel like they do it to distract from the things that are not fixed. Personally, I mean, I don't see them making tons of effort to correct things that have been an ongoing issue. I mean, if you take a look at the win-loss bug, that took them forever to fix. Why? It was affecting people on a very large level. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I also feel like it's a money issue too. Like, everybody's always looking for bigger and better things in life in general. So you introduce new things to the game. They're bigger, they're better. You know, it's the ooh, something shiny syndrome. And so everybody wants to go and buy that. And so they make money off of it. And when you're better and bigger and stronger than other players, you're winning. And so it's a way to keep players, you know, wanting to stay on top.
Yeah, it keeps them wanting to pay to the game and give the developers a salary, basically. And it also is, from what I heard, they have some coders assigned to fixing bugs and coders assigned to making new systems. They don't have coders making the systems, fixing the bugs. So, from my understanding, the devs creating the systems, they don't really, because the entire game is a flawed build. Like, it was built with flaws. That means when a new system arrives, it can bug an old system. And to fix that old system, if they try to do that, they blame that. Instead of fixing that issue, they say, oh, it may cause bigger bugs. We don't want to fix this bug in case it causes more. And that's their excuse to not fix those bugs, because they are just saying, yeah, well, we can't do that because it may cause bigger bugs, and we don't want to risk that, so we'll just have to live with this bug. And they've done this ever since the start of the game, and that's how the bugs have continuously stacked up on each other. I even think if they tried 100%, they could not fix all these bugs without totally recoding the game, or recoding a lot of things in the game, which would lead to probably over 1 week maintenance or longer. And they don't want to do that, because then they'll lose money, and I don't want to lose money. So instead of fixing the bugs, they create new systems, because they have coders to do that. And the coders fixing these problems, they can't really do that when they're afraid of fixing new systems. That's why they're saying, we'll look at it later, like, report noted, we'll have it in a meeting, and nothing happens. The reason nothing happens is because they're afraid of making bigger bugs, and they've used that excuse for a very long time. So yeah, a little bit about that as well. But of course it's to make money, but I think the secret behind it is that they actually can't fix the old bugs without having to redo a lot of work, which will cost a lot of money. And I don't want to spend that money because the game is going fine. People aren't quitting because of these bugs. Some are, but not enough people for them to care. I lost in this Team Arena battle, damn it. Okay, so let's see another question. Let's see here. Are there any? Why can't players change servers or platforms? For example, server transfer.
We actually touched on this. We were discussing it at one point, and part of why is you could, this is Mike that explained this to us, you can stack a server. And by what that means is, like, okay, you have this, you know, 10 billion BR player, just for example, but in their server, they're one of the lower players. So they go to a new server with their 10 billion BR player. Now they're the strongest player on the server. No one else is going to be able to catch up for a long time. And it throws things off. It's really unfair. So you could have all these big players come to a new server and pretty much trash the new server. And by that, I'm not being disrespectful to big BR players. You guys have earned it. You've spent for it, you know.
But they're kind of making it unbalanced.
You have new players coming in that are starting with nothing and seeing these, you know, huge players already. They're not going to stick with it. They're not going to want to stay on that server. Another thing is it's coding. There are several different platforms you can play the game on. And the way I always explained it to players was, you can have a video game that's on the Xbox and on the PlayStation. It's the exact same game. But you can't put the Xbox disc in the PlayStation. It's not going to work, despite it being the same game.
Yeah, because
different platforms, so there's different coding.
Yeah, right. But also, I had an idea about this actually. I said a long time ago. Of course, it did not get implemented, but I thought it would be a fun idea for player transfer, and the players transferring could only transfer to older servers and no newer servers, so they could go to older and older servers for like $500 or whatever price. And that way they would not ruin for new players. They would just go to an older server and kinda do that. And they can of course go back, but they can only go back as high as their own server and not go to any newer servers to keep it balanced. I think that would be a fun idea.
In theory, it's actually a good idea, but you got to figure if you transfer everything over, you have the worry that if one part of the coding isn't correct, you could lose half or more of what you have and you transfer.
Yeah, and knowing the game, they probably won't make a backup. Yeah, they won't make a backup copy either, probably.
Right. Well, you took that chance when you transferred, you know, so it could be that.
Yeah, I think it would be fun though to be able to transfer to older servers, except for those on server 2, such as me. I can't really transfer anywhere except for server 1, so
right.
It wouldn't really make a sense for me. But for people, for example, caching a lot on server 1500 something, there are billions of AT rating, no one in their server group is close to them, they're getting bored, they have no challenge. They should be able to transfer to an older server where they would have challenge if they wanted that, instead of just sitting there having all this good stuff and you can't really use it against anyone because everyone you fight loses easily. Let's see what else we can ask. Let's see here. Yeah, did I ever ask why do tickets in support go unanswered? I don't think so. Why does tickets in support go unanswered?
Anytime anybody comes to fan page and they give you the proper information, which we always had to ask, you know, your IGN, your server number, that information is needed because if a dev has to go into your account for any reason, they have to know whose account to go into. So just the future reference for anybody listening, if you ever have an issue on your account, include your game name and your server number. This way they can help you faster because mods go on shifts. So the person that's working with you at 9 a.m. your time, they're only going to be on till a certain time. Then they're not going to be able to respond until the next day.
Yeah,
are able to get on throughout the day to reply. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's a timing thing. If you don't get the information to us fast enough, we weren't able to help you really quickly. And it's all about efficiency. Then we would have to, you know, put things on our document to pass forward to the devs. The devs would go into it. But there's a waiting list basically because you only have so many hours in a day to look through all of these reports. And some days there wouldn't be many, but other days there would be a lot. So you're basically on a waiting list. Once the devs get to you, then we have to wait for them to get back to us before we can get back to the player. So, I mean, it's just like with any issue. But it's not where you call and say, hey, I'm having an issue with this, and they can go into your account immediately and fix it. You do have to be patient. And some issues do take longer than others, but everything that you report with the proper information is sent to the devs, and it's up to them from there to do anything about it.
Yeah, right. And the developers usually do things about it? Or do they usually just...
It depends. It depends on what it is. If it's hey, I have, you know, this item missing, they'll go and look on your account. If they see that it's there, then obviously nothing's going to be done. If you're having a recharge issue, Facebook and forum cannot go and do recharge. Those automatically have to go to support. And players got really frustrated about that. But the Facebook and forum mods weren't able to handle recharge issues. That's a different system that handles those. If it's a game bug, we just have to report it. We can try and work you through some troubleshooting stuff. Sometimes the troubleshooting works, and I know it's annoying to constantly hear, have you run CC cleaner? Have you cleaned your cache?
Yeah,
Have you...
all of that stuff. Yeah, that's very...
all of that, and it is really annoying. But as a player myself, I can tell you, if you do all those things, at least 50% of the time, which still isn't that great of odds, but if it's on your end, doing one of those things is going to clear up your issue. If it's on the game's end, then you have to wait on a dev, but it's worth the try instead of waiting for them to come back, because they're going to come back and say, well, did they run this? Did they try this? Because it's not on our end. And then you just wasted time on your half,
Yeah, right. Oh, I lost 1 million topaz. I should clear my cache and see if I can get them back.
And sometimes, I mean, I've had things come up missing on my account, and, I reported it as, hey, I've got this missing, and they went into my account and looked, and they're like, it's showing on our end. And I did all the cleaning stuff, and it reappeared. So it can happen on your end. It's just something with the data not making it through to your device. And
that's
so
very
sometimes
weird though, because I haven't heard about that in any other game before.
Right. And the C cleaner thing that is recommended, the reason they use that is because, for one, it helps optimize your computer. I used it before I played the game. Basically, it clears out any hidden or old files in your computer, so it will actually help increase the speed of your computer or whatever device you use, because it cleans out all the stuff that's bogging it down. So basically, they do the patch every Thursday. They're putting in new information, so all that old information is just stored on your computer. And just like anything, and they can conflict, and it can bog it, and you run the C cleaner, and it clears all that old information off your computer or device, whatever, and it can help, it can help you log into the game. There's a few other things that you can do, like flushing your DNS. Sometimes that is a loading issue, and it's not anything on either end. It's just somewhere in your lines, it gets messed up to where you can't connect to the game, but the game can't connect to you either. So you flush your DNS, and it helps it reload. You just got to go through the troubleshooters, but some players aren't willing to do that. And so they come, the devs go into their account and come back and say, well, they need to do this. And the player doesn't want to, but they'll come on and complain about they can't get into the game, or this is missing, or that is missing. And it's really not. It's just on their end because they haven't cleaned it. It's still showing all the old data instead of the new data.
Yeah. Do developers get to play the game?
No, devs are not allowed to play the game. Now, they have their testing server, but that server is not allowed to answer anything like that.
Yeah, why aren't they allowed? Do we know?
They know what's going to happen in the game. They know what events are coming up. They know what, new equipment is coming out. So it would give them a total unfair advantage on other players. Not to mention, okay, say you do lose 100 topaz and it is on the game's end. They can go in and give you that back. They can recode it to where it shows back up in your account.
Yeah.
So in their own accounts, which would make it very unfair to all players. So they're not allowed to play. If there's an issue going on and they need to get into an account to look, some of the times, like I've personally volunteered for it, they've gone into my account and tested a few things to see, where the problem was. Like I had an event that wasn't working properly, but they don't have their own accounts. They couldn't test it. So they went into my account and tested it that way to see where the problem was.
Yeah. Also, if they did play the game, everyone would call them seeds. Basically.
Well, devs would always win because they have access to all the things.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And that's I definitely understand why it has to be like it is. Like I understand why they shouldn't play, but then again, it's like I don't know, it would be kind of fun to see. Because even though they can predict the events coming and the systems coming, there is no real way to prepare yourself except for financially, because everything is most likely costing money. But I guess it is a little bit unfortunate that they would know the events and stuff. But then again, it would be kind of nice to have developers being on purposefully only to connect with the players and actually read bugs for themselves rather than having them reported by someone. Like having them more integrated into to the player base and the community. Because right now they're separating themselves very much. Like if you're a normal player, you can't talk to a dev. And I think that should be changed. That they should be more, I guess, humane, you could say. More connected to the game they actually run and earn money from. Let's see here. Do mods get any special treatment, intel, benefits?
Nope. There's times where we learned things happening from the players because we were given no heads up about it. We'd get a...
I think you cut out. Is it my end? No. I think you cut out. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there you are. Now I can hear you.
How's that?
Better.
Yeah, now it's better.
I don't know where I was.
Yeah, you said sometimes you would know problems because players have reported them to you or something like that.
Yep, and we'd have to go back to the devs and say, hey, what is this promotion that you've been sending out that we're suddenly getting questions about? And that's how we'd learn about it.
Yeah, but no real other benefits, like we don't get information that players wouldn't normally. Like we won't know about a new system coming, for example.
Right, we would find everything out either at the same time as players or after players were informing us of what was going on. So there's no heads up. Hey, you know, for example, Tycoon single server Tycoon is in 3 days. The only reason we would know it is if fan page or forums posted, hey, single server Tycoon is in 3 days. Like we didn't find anything out ahead, and that was to keep us from having any kind of advantage as well, I think, because if you know an event's coming up,
that makes it very unfair.
Sources for right. So we didn't do that. You don't get any free items. I mean, you get your mod pay, but that's really the only thing you get for being a mod. You don't get anything in addition to it. No heads up, no extra benefits, no free items, none of that.
Right. I actually got told rather about new systems before they happened, but that wasn't often though. But just a little fun fact. I not about the events though, just that I knew that systems were coming. I of course didn't say anything. Non-disclosure agreement. Let's see here. Why your devs not doing anything on YouTube channel and in the same time making efforts are players? I didn't quite understand that, but I think it's more like, why are devs not doing anything on the YouTube channel? They have the official page, and at the same time making efforts. Who is making efforts are players? I guess this was a difficult question. I'm not sure how we can answer that. But I guess I can ask you guys a little bit of a more personal against, I mean to me, do you guys have any ideas why I, of all people, got targeted, fired? Yeah, like why did I get what I feel like stabbed in the back when I've made all these videos for the game? Like what made them want to do that? What logical reason did I do that for? I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal, but it's kind of weird to be like thrown under a bus or whatever when all you do for the game is try to advertise it basically by making videos of it.
As I said last time, they got what they wanted out of you. They got the Discord, and they didn't need you anymore. That is my personal opinion. It had a lot of viewers, it had a lot of participants, whatever you want to call it, and there was already several mods in there, so you basically got under the bus. It was just they knew you would probably fight and disagree with things, so it was easier to get rid of you, or they thought, because they're still trying to figure out ways to silence you, and it's not going to work.
Yeah, they really can't do anything. Luckily for me,
and we're not breaking any kind of rules, non-disclosures, whatever you want to call them, by discussing why you got fired, because it was very unfair. There were several other mods that were in that Discord that have broken several rules, and it's okay, pat on the hand, don't do that again. But they needed somebody, official lamb of sorts, and so I guess you got voted up as that person.
Yeah, but I don't understand the logic of ruining, well, rather risking someone. Why would they risk like getting a lot of bad publicity for a freaking chat server?
I don't think they believed that you would speak out against it. Again, this is just my personal opinion. You were on our page. You were on Facebook team, and we didn't even know you were going to get fired or be fired until it had already been done.
Yeah, they kind of made the decision for Bao, I think, was supposed to fire me or something like that.
Right.
So they kind of but yeah, I don't want to talk badly about the game, because it's not the game there's something wrong with. There's of course a lot of wrongs with the game, but I wouldn't want to talk crap about the game or even the company, because I'm sure the higher up tiers of devs don't even know what's happening.
Right. It's more so
I shouldn't blame an entire company for the doing of a few people.
Moderators and the developers that we dealt with that were in the wrong with that. As far as the game goes, yes, I sit here and do this and I talk about what happened, but I still play the game. I play LOA 1 and LOA 2. I have nothing against either game. I enjoy playing them.
Yeah, but it's a fun game.
As the way things are done, that and it's an opinion thing too, because some people don't see anything wrong with it, and they're just like, well, if you didn't like it, just quit. I did.
Right.
But when you put your time into something, you want to see it through, and so quitting wasn't something I really wanted to do. I'm not the type of person that likes to quit anything. But I knew it was going to come down to being fired or quitting, and
of course
you wanted satisfaction.
Yeah, of course, I would also have quit if I knew it was.
I didn't want to be fired in the middle of the night and at least, and not get to say how I felt. Whereas with quitting, I got to say what I wanted to say before I left.
Yeah, and that's something. That's a good thing, I think, genuinely. That you're able to do that. That you were able to do that, rather. So you can't get fired and removed from the chat without speaking your mind or your opinions about things.
And my opinion was spoken.
Yeah, that's good. Why haven't we had any question and answer with any devs, like does any other game? That, I guess the question is why don't we have a question and answer with a developer like they do on other games? On every other game, actually.
Right, there's no direct line to the developers. To get any information through them, you have to go through. Every once in a while, a developer will come on the fan page and answer questions, but players don't know if they're speaking to a mod or a dev. 98% of the time, if not more, you're talking to a mod. Big issue going on, and a developer doesn't want to wait for all the information to pass between a third party, they'll take that and try and solve the issue right away by speaking directly. It's all about timing too, if a dev happens to be on at that time. As far as an open, they don't want players to know who they are, and you've got to figure people are using their actual money. This isn't virtual funds that goes into this game. This is money that it's money that you work for, money that you take away from other things that you're putting into this game. And some people have, just like anything, some people have more than others. And so, you're putting your money into this though. And if something isn't working right, some people are just going to be like, it happens, no big deal. And other people are going to make death threats, like people take it way too far. And so I think it's not only they're busy trying to do other things, but it's also a safety issue. They don't want players to know exactly who they are or how to reach them. And so the fan page and forums and now the Discord is a good way to go in between.
Yeah, right.
That's just my thinking on it. I know
they're afraid of revealing their identities.
Right. When I first started modding, I was put directly on fan page. I didn't have to answer under my actual account. I was able to answer under the League of Angels 2 title. So players didn't know it was me. But we had some mods that came in that didn't get those permissions right away. And so they were having to answer from their actual Facebook and just sign it mod. And they were getting hounded with messages and people upset and just tons of friend requests or anything of theirs that was posted public. They were getting players commenting on that stuff. Why are you on here instead of helping me with my game? And so it was just it's a harassment thing, so it's.
Yeah. I would never use my real profile to mod as like that. Like I would not risk that. Like I don't even share it to YouTube because I'm not sure, but I do think some details about me. There's probably some, I haven't really looked into it, but I've always kept the rule of not really sharing my personal profile with a lot of people in case, again, harassment or something happens. Like, for example, them commenting as the page with their own profile, people can see that, and it can only end poorly, I think. Let's see here. We'll have a few more questions. Are Facebook mods and forum mods the same people?
No.
No, there's just two different mod teams assigned to each thing. Kind of like... I don't know how to explain it, but it's like two different teams, basically. Let's see. What else? There's a lot of questions here. Why? I'm just trying to figure out a question I can ask. I think we've been through most of the... I guess we can ask this one. Why is there little to no customer service? It was me who wrote this.
We are your customer service. I mean, unless it's like something recharge related, then that support is your customer service. But you're going to get the best results, I think, from at least from my experience posting on Facebook, because you're going to get an answer. Whereas sometimes support stuff would go unanswered.
Yeah, right. And from my understanding, ticket system has improved lately. Because, I think it's been improved, and I recommend everyone who has a problem to actually try there first, if it's not an urgent one. If it's an urgent problem, I would definitely recommend asking on Facebook page. But I think because it's not moderators who is responding to the tickets, it's developers answering to the tickets on the ticketing system. So that's the only way you can get direct contact with the developers, is through that. But you of course have to have a problem for them to answer you. And but I think the most efficient way, maybe not the quickest way, depending on the urgency of the problem, but I definitely recommend using the ticketing system because they have more powers than any mod can have, basically. They can help with support, they can help with recharge issues. Like, I had a problem with a recharge many months back, like in July or June or something. I asked, and they responded actually within just a day or something like that, and told me like all the things I needed to know. So the ticketing system has definitely improved.
For support though, if you go directly through the ticketing system, I do recommend that when you send that report in, again, you post your game name, or character name, whichever one you prefer to call it, and your server number so that they can help you more efficiently. And also only send one ticket, because and we would tell players the same thing on fan page, if you post over and over and over and over, we actually can't get to you any faster. It's going to show up in a time, in the order of which people have posted. So if you post 15 times, that means we have to go through 14 other of your posts to get to the next player. So it actually slows down response time as opposed to helping get anybody faster. It's not going to be like, oh, so-and-so posted 15 times, help him now. It just shows up in order. So if you, basically spam the support system or forums, or you spam Facebook, it doesn't help anyone. It just bogs down the timing.
Yeah, it does. It clutters up the system because, yeah, I definitely understand that, but I understand why people would do that. Because the more you type it, like, oh, they have so many reports, they must see this. I'm probably more visible to them if I spam it a lot, because then they will see my name repetitively in a list, and they might think that's more important, so they will go to it. That might be a thought process of the player, so it's not the player's fault for spamming if they are believing what they're doing is right. But now I guess everyone watching here knows that they shouldn't really spam it. Let's see here. I actually have a question of my own, which I haven't really gotten confirmed. I'm sure you guys probably have not as well, but this will be the last question. So we can extrovert challenge, we can challenge people from other servers, we can friend them, we can private message them, but why can't we mail them, in-game mail? Why doesn't that work?
It's a great question.
Yeah, I actually have no idea.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me that you can do literally everything you want with people in your server group, but you can't send an in-game mail to someone outside of your server. And I'm very curious of why that is. Yeah, here I come asking the impossible questions, but it's just a thought I had. Like, I've talked to the developers about it, and like, they don't really have an answer for it. And of course, knowing them, it probably won't be fixed. Well, you never know. Sometimes they do fix things.
But yeah, that was not something that was ever, I mean, if it's more of a question for the devs, we're not going to have, I mean, we might have theories, but as far as a solid answer,
yeah,
I have no idea. I know you can send guild mail, so if you have any people in your same server, you can send them
guild mail, yeah,
mail within the guild mail. But as far as
weirder. That makes it even weirder, to be honest. Single player mail, I think, would be much easier than doing a freaking guild mail. But I guess it's just how it works. But hopefully we will get that working, because I really want to see crossover mailing, so that people can do that. And for example, say you want to join this strong guild in another server, you have no way of contacting the guild leader without having to create an entire new account in the server he is in. It would be much more efficient if you were able to mail him from your server asking to join his guild, rather than having to create a new account. Then he could also check your account out and see if you're qualified to be in the guild, for example. So it would really solve a lot of guild joining problems people might have. And or just friends talking, like you want to be friends with this player, and sometimes he's not always on. You have 2 different time zones, and that means you can't PM them, but you still want to continue to have a contact with them. And if Facebook and everything is out of the solution, you have to talk to them in-game. In-game mail would help that, because then he would be able to see whatever mail when he got on, and he could respond, and then you could respond, and it could be like in-game mailing. But that's also not a possibility crossover. My bird is black a little bit. It's weird. Yeah, I'm streaming the game in the meantime while we're talking. Yeah, I've had this bug before though. I'm not sure it's on all the accounts. Yeah, sometimes there's a lot of black animation things on either Vermilion Hawk or my Pamela, and I'm like, why? It's just another bug, but that's fine. I played League of Legends 1 today. A video of that will be up tomorrow. It was so annoying, a bug that happened. Like, that game has so many bugs compared to League of Legends 2. I'm actually thankful that League of Legends 2 have so little bugs as they have in comparison. Because League of Legends 1 is a freaking bug fest.
The only issue I've ever really come across with League of Legends 1 is every time because I usually have multiple browsers open, so if I'm on that game and I switch over to Facebook to talk to somebody and switch back, I have to reload the entire game. Like, it's constantly freezing on me, and they don't have a solution for it. Like, I've contacted support and everything, and they don't know why it's happening. But as far as big bugs go, I've been lucky, you know, knock on wood, to not experience anything there.
Yeah, I've had bulk gem exchange in Age of Legends 1 is bullshit. Like, it freezes up, and then you can't synthesize gems, you can't do anything with gems, you have to refresh. The crit damage gem is not in the bulk exchange thing. There's just so many bugs I can list off just from my videos. Well, I can't think of them on the top of my head, but I'm sure I could find a freaking list. Like, way above 10 bugs I've experienced during those few videos I've made on it. So there's a lot of very annoying bugs. I guess when you get used to them, you don't really notice them as much. And I assume you have played the game for a while, so you're kind of used to doing things to avoid bugs, most likely.
It's even with the few bugs that are there, it's a very enjoyable game to play.
Yeah, definitely. I do like the animation of League of Legends 2 though. It looks better, I think. But
it's the graphics. The graphics are more.
Yeah, they're just more smooth. Yeah, they're more smooth, more 3D-ish type. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just like an upgraded version of the game in my opinion. And I like how they didn't break, like, you can have 600,000 dodge and 500k hit, and if you have too low hits, they will literally dodge everything you throw at them. And I like how League of Legends 2 has worked on skills to counter that, and even then they haven't broken the hit and dodge and crit and end and block ratios like they have in League of Legends 1. And the HP and all of that stuff. Like, they even have, when you have too much HP or something, or deal too much damage, it will show wrongly in the quick battle. There are so many bugs in League of Legends 1. But guess that's what people actually did not sign up for. My camera was out of focus, is it? That's weird. Why does this camera of all things have problems focusing? I'm out of focus, man. Okay, my camera is having a field trip right now. What is happening? Fix yourself, camera. Can you focus, for crying out loud? This camera sucks for focusing. It's a freaking 4K camera. Why aren't you working? Do I have to, like... Look at this crap, man. Why is this not working? Autofocus is on. Give me a second, guys. Am I in focus now? There we go, finally, for crying out loud. Okay. Logitech Brio 4K, if you're watching this, fix your stuff. It's buggy like League of Legends 1. Anyhow, I would like to thank everyone for tuning into the live stream. If you did enjoy it, I guess you can like it. Like it down below if you want to. You can donate if you want to do that as well. And other than that, I want to thank the moderators included. This concludes this interview. I think we have covered everything we can cover. for the most part. Like, there's nothing super worthy of taking up. If there is anything more, if you guys have more questions you would like me to ask, you can just form them and let me ask them. But for now, I think we have gone through most questions, and hopefully it solved things. Also, if you're watching this in the end, everyone viewing this video afterwards, do not put hate on the moderators. You can, like, I heard a lot of people, or some moderators got bashed after our first interview. Because of our interview, it's created a lot of discussions, a lot of fights. And that's not what I wanted, so please do not do that. What you can do, you can work towards, you can go to the ticketing system and ask for someone's removal from the Discord team. We have talked about their names, but I'm not going to mention their name. You can go to the last interview and find out all the names. But yeah, just if you want to play a part in this, help us change the mod leadership. Other than that, that's about it. Mods are innocent. Everyone else is innocent except for 3 or 4 people, I would say, is the main problem of everything. And if any of you guys in this interview want to say their names, you can. But I don't want to be threatened anymore, so I don't want to, like, even say those names in case something happens.
If you go back through the first video, their names are all on there.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll say the name. It's Ozog. I'll say it. There's no problems.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's that name, and there is another one.
Beatrix.
Yeah, and another one starting with P. Isn't yeah, well, those 2, I guess, in particular, but there's another guy who was kind of like, who isn't good for the mod team. Who got the leadership on the Facebook page.
Are you talking about Bad?
Yeah, him. He doesn't really do a good job either. He's bad. I think that's all the people. So if you want to help, you can help us take those out, and that would be great. But thanks everyone for watching. If you did enjoy, hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.